Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Down Over. I'm Harold Muliati.
And I'm Geoff Blanchard, and Harold's standing in for Rick, who's got other commitments today, but that doesn't matter. We've got a really great guest today. Anyway, here's our intro.
Let's get going.
And we're back.
And returning to Tech Down Over, we've got Stephen Heywood.
Hey guys.
Hey, how have you been, Stephen?
Busy. Coming off of a hunting season, archery season, and then getting into trade show season.
Yeah,
here.
you just covered ATA, right?
Yeah, we just came up from we went down to Louisville, Kentucky, and at the Expo Farm Show down there, and we did some live coverage from the floor with Live View.
Cool.
I saw that, Stephen. It's quite amazing how easy it's becoming to do these live views. What do you use? Was it that unit called Live View that you used?
Yeah, the company LiveView.tv, they make it's a portable broadcasting unit. I think I showed Rick the last time I was on. And it uses bonded technology, the cell phone signals, like AT&T, Verizon, and it bonds it together to make one single uplink so that you can stream from anywhere that you can get a cell phone signal.
And it's great these days because, as I said, when that technology really first came out, the cost of doing it was a bit prohibitive. But now you've got cell phones with sort of so much cheaper data, it makes it more worthwhile to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the unit that I use is a LiveView Solo. It's about $1,000, $995, and it's great for that one, that guy that wants to go out onto like any show and do it from the show floor with any camera that takes HDMI or SDI.
Yeah, so I saw the quality is quite excellent. So when you do your filming, do you have there's just a two-man crew, one with the camera and just you with the microphone?
Actually, we have a four-person crew, believe it or not. We have a gal that does our social media, and she kind of helps facilitate people to make sure nobody's walking in front of us, but also talking to the different marketing companies. As you can see behind me, I've got some different footage from the actual show. And so I've been trying to get my wife more and more active and involved, where she has actually been co-hosting with me from the show floor. So usually we have two wireless mics, and then we have a Canon HFG40 that we use on the show floor, and with the Live View.
Well, that's great. And the Live View unit, is it small? It is small enough. It sort of fits on the camera shoe, does it? The hot shoe or is it a separate attachment?
It can. I wish I would have known in advance. I would have had it out for you guys. But it's probably about the size of 6 inches by maybe 4 inches by 2 inches deep, maybe. It's fairly decent size.
And for anyone watching, I believe Stephen actually did show the unit itself last time, so we'll link that below so you can take a look at that as well. So you can see how the actual size of it is and all that.
But I have a cool piece of tech that we could talk about though.
Oh, good.
If you guys are open, I know I'm kind of throwing this at you guys, but are you open to it?
Of course,
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so when you guys got me on the show here, we kind of went the old route of using Skype, right? And you guys kind of know I was a big proprietor of Skype, Skype TX, the last time I was on. But there's a new kind of gear that, what if I were to tell you I could send you a link and you could get on and I could actually access your microphone, access your camera, and be able to adjust it if you were not tech savvy to join on the show. Not only that, but I could screen a call ahead of time by just simply sending you a link to any device that you're using.
That's interesting.
What I've already got them scratching their head. They're always, okay. So since I don't have to do any producing today, even though I have it pulled up, I want you to pull up neuralnet.com, and it's GNURAL net.com.
All right, let me see if I
see if you can pull that up. So basically, you can buy the software, you can pay monthly for the software, or you can get a hardware box that has the software already pre-installed. John Mahoney over there, he actually developed this quad box. It uses either SDI capabilities, or it uses HDMI, or you can use the new founded best friend of all of us broadcasters, the NDI platform.
Well, I think you're going to have to spell that for me again, because I probably made a typo while trying to get over to it.
Oh, no worries. If you want, while you're pulling it up, if you want to put me full screen, I can pull this up for you guys to make it easy. But this is the company, NeuralNet, and it uses a call-in manager. Here's the cool thing. So Geoff, since you're down underland in Australia, so Rick could be producing the show. He could give you access to this call-in manager that you're seeing here, and you could actually screen calls while the show is going on and sending it to his live-to-air system as these people are calling in, or as you're setting up the show to make it easier for him. And
that sounds great.
It's slick, isn't it? And so this is what the call-in manager looks like. I have it off to my right. I know you guys can't see it, but if you watch this video that John has, you can actually see it. And if you look, there's 4 channels right here that you can place people in. On the left-hand side here, you have a list of all these people that are waiting in the queue to be added to any of these 4 banks. And there's also a camera that's connected to it, a webcam, that the person could be setting it up, talking to these individuals before they even go on air and say, okay, right now Rick and Geoff, they're finishing their thought, but we're going to get you on right after that. And then they push them live, and then it will end up showing up inside of their switcher, like in my case, the TriCaster, or if you're using Wirecast or vMix, it'll actually show up as an NDI source or an SDI source if you're using capture cards.
Cool. I mean, in a way, that's a little similar to, because what we've been using increasingly is vMix Call, which is part of our switcher software, vMix. But it does a little bit of that. It lets you control their audio pretty well. Sometimes people have trouble getting the right camera to connect to it. And as far as screening, you can kind of like chat to people, you can type to them, but you can't actually like do that. The whole thing where you talk to them and you have a separate video feed going to them and stuff. That's pretty neat.
I think good thing though, the one that Stephen was saying about though, that yes, we can do this through vMix where I'm coming in through this, but what I could do with that one, by the sounds of it, I could control the show. I could take the call and push it live.
Yeah,
which I can't do anything. I just do what I'm at your beck and call, Harold. So if you switch me off, that's fine. But I could be talking to Stephen, or I go off, he goes full screen. I could talk to somebody. Oh, he's talking about this. I'll put you on now, and I could take over and be a bit of a producer. So that sounds really great.
You could actually help Harold out in Rick's absence, and I know Rick does some switching, but I know Harold, you do a lot of it. But I think what it could do is it really opens it up and kind of takes, if you think of the old school radio, where you had the producer talking to the guests before they go live onto the air, making sure they're not going to say something wrong, or getting all the information of the guest. There is another plugin I know with the TriCaster that allows for when that person calls, they fill out the information of their name, their website, and all that. The TriCaster through live text will automatically populate that information on a lower third. So when you push it live, it already has that person's information already populated, and it even has on the live to air. It gives me what they're going to ask, what their question is, what topic they want to discuss. So that it's a little bit different than what Wirecast offers with Rendezvous and what vMix offers with vMix Call. So it really has the broadcaster taken to the next level for an actual call-in solution, right?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about this service.
Neural net. So I'm going to have to investigate that, because I think, wouldn't that be great? So Harold, so you could have a day off every now and then. So if we could do that, Rick could be talking, and I could still do some of the, because we don't do anything fantastic, and that's all you want is to change a shot or push another screen on. By the sounds of that, that's what you could do. What sort of costs involved? Is it very the monthly subscription? You said, is it very expensive or reasonable?
So he has different costs involved. So he has the 1-year subscription price, which you could pay like $35 a month for 2 callers. Like if you wanted to just do a duo, what they call. If you want to do a quad, it would be like $70 a month. But you could also do where you purchase the software outright, where there's no monthly cost. For the duo, it's $1,000 or $999. And for the quad, it's $2,000 or $1,999. And that's assuming you have a PC that can run it, or you can purchase hardware through it, which I can show you a camera shot that I have where it's in the rack.
Oh, so it has sort of like that that other box. So it's got its own box with all the software installed as well, if you want to go for that. So,
if you wanted to go for that.
It's just amazing the technology that's coming out, because there's so many people doing this sort of thing. You've got to make it easier and more palatable for it, because with the vMix and the Wirecast, they're great, but it still takes somebody a bit more involved in it's in the studio to do that. But something like that, which like we're doing, I'm down here in Australia, but it's quite often I want to be involved, and I could be helping Rick if he's doing an outside broadcast. I could be doing it and then say getting the guest on and switching for him.
Yeah, and John came out to my studio and actually installed it. You guys can actually see over here the rack system that I have. The Neuron, as you can see there, the big box there. That's actually the box that they installed into the rack that runs the 4-input switcher, because I wanted the SDI. I also have the NDI abilities, but I wanted to have that flexibility for it. So they actually came out from New Jersey and installed it here in my studio. And it's been working great. And it actually has full duplex audio, which vMix will claim that they have full duplex audio. But it's actually echo cancellation, where this has actual full duplex audio.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yes, well, that's now we've got another bit of technology that we can interest Rick in, Harold.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool. It's things like these kind of make the whole broadcasting and streaming thing. It makes having all these kind of professional studio amenities more accessible for people to just kind of have their own independent little shows and be kind of more self-sufficient that way. That's pretty cool.
And the thing you were saying earlier, Harold, that things sometimes get so darn complicated, and like when we do, just like when we're just starting, getting a bit of feedback and all that. But with so many different switches of this and that, it's so, which one's wrong. But if you can have a nice simple interface that just does it, there's not much going wrong in there. So was you using that for your live broadcast for your ATA show that you went to?
Believe it or not, I've done lots and lots of testing for the last couple months with it. He installed it shortly after I moved into this place back in November, or first week of December he moved. He got it. So the last time I was on your show, I was still at my old house. This is a brand new studio, and you guys actually have the exclusivities on this, because I have not showed the public yet. I have not done a live broadcast from this studio yet.
Oh,
awesome.
So about 7 months ago you was on, so a lot has changed in 7 months.
I actually am in a brand new studio in my brand new house. It's like 3 times the size of my old house and 3 times the size of my old studio. So if you guys give me the liberty, I can kind of give you a bird's eye shot if you want to kind of show you what I'm working with here.
You'd love to.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually have this shot set up, and I know this is going to probably mess Harold up a little bit, but as long as he doesn't put me in a 3-way, we'll be okay. So okay. I incorporated this 4K TV behind me. This is a real TV. It's not a green screen. I know a lot of people always ask. If you notice behind it, I've got the soundproofing set up. I'm going to just cut to some shots here that I have set up. So this is actually what I'm sitting at. I have a nice bar that's set up here with some TVs on the front. You can see that are mounted with that has program out. Yeah. So if anybody's sitting down here, they can actually watch the show or see what the internet's seeing. I've got the nice rack set up, and I've got great cable management since moving here. So I don't have all the bad cable management from the old house. Let me see here. Let's go to this shot here. So this is the other side of the studio where I actually am going to start doing a retro arcade type show. So you guys can see right there, I have a bunch of retro arcades set up on that side.
I can say Pac-Man there.
Yep. There's actually one that I put a Raspberry Pi in on the very end, the closest one to the camera, that has over 9,000 games. Anything you could think of from your childhood that you played in the arcade is in that box.
Wow. All in a tiny package too, huh?
Yeah. Yep. All one. So over here is like kind of the brain, if you will. There's 4 screens there. That is kind of my workstation, if you will. That also has the mixer. That, well, as you can see, I'm talking. It's going through. So there's that, and then also right over here, obviously we showed the rack, and then underneath the bar, I've got a few things set up to where, like I have the Wirecast gear monitor and everything like that. But I also have, let's see if I can do this.
You've obviously got the PTZ cameras as well.
I do, and then I have a camera that's over my shoulder, so you can kind of see what's sitting in front of me. I've got a monitor here that I run chat when I do a show. This is how I'm remotely viewing you guys of what you're sending me through this NDI application that's on my MacBook Air, which I also use to bring up websites. This PC usually does the remote caller, like we talked about from that neural net. It allows me to do the screening if nobody's there to do the screening. I can do it from this PC using NDI, and then here's the TriCaster monitor. Basically the macro controller that I have programmed to be able to hot swap some different cameras. TriCaster controller, and I even have a Wirecast one under here that I use to switch the Wirecast gearbox. As you can see that there. So I've got a lot of controllers that I play with during a show.
You do, yeah.
And you've got plenty of mice there.
You guys I got the easy job today. I just sit here and talk to y'all.
Yeah, well, I know when on your normal shows though, so now I can understand. Well, that's just a nice, easy talk for you. But when you're doing it, you have a nice, easy talk. But the things that must be going through your brain are what things to push and what to do. But I must admit, I do like the way you've got your studio. I do like the TVs rather than green screen because it gives you so much more flexibility with your cameras because you don't have to worry it's going to go outside of the screen. Well, you've set the scene so you don't mind what people see behind you. That is the scene. You've made them so it's palatable. You want them to see that. So.
Right, exactly. And you mentioned the PTZ cameras, and I actually have 2 of them, and I have. It's hard for me to show it with the cameras, but I'll have to get an angle set up sometime. But I have 2 30-inch TVs that are like literally right behind the camera, so that has preview and program from the TriCaster, so I'm able to see my shot before pushing it live, so I don't make a mistake. And it sits right there, right below my studio light. So I condensed the studio from the old one, but actually it's more powerful because I've not gone overkill and I've put in the things that I need, and I don't need 15 different monitors to make it look good. So I have a monitor there, and then when I switch to that camera, when I come over here, I can see a clock, I can see everything. So I'm pretty well versed in the setup right now.
Cool. And as you said, it's proper soundproofed as well, so you don't have to worry where you are, what you're doing. And is that in a sub basement type thing or just above ground?
So it is. It's a finished basement in the new house here, and there was a lot of wood paneling. I don't know if you noticed that when I panned around. So when I initially set up the studio, there was a lot of echoes that were going on. So I took the studio foam from the old house, and I went along the walls on the roof here and on the side, basically where I'm sitting, just to kind of control the echo that's going into the microphone, and it kind of gives it that still that. I don't know if you guys think so, but to me it sounds really good.
It does, yeah.
To me, yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
There's no
I
echo.
must admit, I'd love to have like a studio in a basement, because I think just feels like your own bunker as well. You shut the door and you're in there, sealed out from the outside world. And because that really, for soundproofing, there's nothing. No matter how much soundproofing you can get, if you're below, you just don't have any noise coming through, and you can have the neighbor doing the lawn mowing. You can have trucks going by, and you just don't have any problems whatsoever.
So when you're doing your shows, are you able to basically control the whole thing by yourself? Do you have someone at the mixer, or not usually?
I do everything myself. In fact, I don't have the iPad right here, but that mixer is a PreSonus mixer. Yeah. And so normally if I was producing the show, I can control that mixer from the iPad.
Wow.
So I would have it set up, and so everything's within arm's reach in front of me, to where I can control it, and I could still talk to the camera and just kind of look down like as if I was reading a note. But in actuality, I could be adjusting something or tweaking something, and I've gotten to the point with the TriCaster that I can press a button without looking at it and know what I'm hitting and what I'm doing. And I think, you know, a lot of maybe the audience was watching, they saw the promo picture that I sent into Rick, and you know, there's this guy standing there in camo, and they're thinking like, how is this guy so geeky? I mean, I get that all the time. Like, how do you know how to do all this stuff? And you know, bringing that over to the outdoors was awesome, because a lot of the people in the outdoors don't know how to do this type of thing, and they've been calling me and wanting me to do high-end video production for them to release their products, to show their products, to edit their product videos. So I've really taken what I've done in the Tech Buzz, which I am bringing back.
I was just going to ask. I was going to say that, because I thought you wouldn't go to the trouble putting the Tech Buzz into your new studio at the front and not do it. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing back a broadcast show like we used to do.
Awesome.
But the tech show, I want to kind of focus on practical tech, and my wife kind of named it like Practical Technology, like a show. And the type of show I want to do is kind of things that people deal with on a day in, day out basis. Like, how many of you guys on Facebook, how many of you have seen Harold, Geoff, how many of you seen people posting this thing? I do not give Facebook permission to use my stuff, and if you do whatever, you can't do it. It's spam. Okay, I want to kind of do stuff like that, where I show people like how to protect yourself with your cell phone.
Yeah.
How to make sure you change your password every 3 months or 2 months or whatever it is. Those types of things that grandma and grandpa can tune in and actually understand this confounded technology.
Basically technological literacy kind of stuff, right?
I mean, even simple things like you said is, it's not how to use, but how to identify, like you said, what's a genuine message. Because how many times do you get, click here for a free Netflix for 2 years, and you know it's not right, and then you say if it's too good to be true, it is. But that would be a great sort of show, because so many people out there, like you said, just don't know how to click one button that said, don't show this to everybody, and they just don't go into the settings and things like in Facebook. Yes, they've got the setting, but why is everybody getting it? So, well, they don't realize that friends of friends of friends of friends still get it if you say friends. It's still, you might only have one friend, but if they've got 500,000, the other one, it's getting out to a lot of people.
I mean,
and Harold, you could probably attest to this. You've probably gotten these spam calls of the IRS calling your phone saying that you have to pay them in Starbucks cards or
the man with
Best
the very
Buy
heavy
cards.
accent.
I don't know if you have. Yeah, I mean, I've had people talk to me and say, is this legit? I'm like, no, the IRS is not going to call you. And they're also not going to ask you to pay them in back taxes using Best Buy gift cards.
And these people are usually calling from outside the country. So if you like try to give, tell the FBI tip line or whatever, then they can't do anything because they're not even in the country.
But even then, everybody knows, like, our IRS is the same as ours. If they want you to come and get you, they don't pull out.
That's How many of you guys have gotten the call from the person from Microsoft support that says, we've detected a virus on your computer, and we'll gladly take it off for you for $500. And I usually say to them, really? And they take me through it, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a start button. I have an Apple. Oh, well, Microsoft owns that too. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Basically, they try to get you to a remote desktop thing so that they can do whatever they want.
It's funny. We in Australia, we're getting the IRS calls, and the sheriff's going to get you in an American accent as well. So, I mean, they're just wasting the time going to a different country that don't call it the IRS. And most people say, "What on earth are they talking about?" And who's this sheriff? Because we don't talk. They do have a sheriff here, but they don't. Nobody would talk about it as much as they do over there. So, these scams are just trying everybody on, and I get on a daily basis now. They go on your cell phones. I said, well, they didn't used to. And I had one the other day, and he said, Mr. Jeffrey, and I said, no, it's Geoff. What's this about? And I just said, what? I'll put you through to my supervisor. And then he just hung up. But I wanted to know was just get to the point, because some of the time, you don't know, it could be genuine. And I've hung up on a few people, and they said, we tried to do it was the bank, proper, genuine one. They said, no, well, if in doubt, I hang up. If you are a true person, you'll phone back.
Yeah,
that's great. Yep. That show with that for that, because it's the little things. Like there's plenty of shows that will show people how to build a computer, put it together bit by bit, and all that. But there's not very many shows that will take it down. No, when they say close a window, click. Like I know I learned when I was doing training years ago. The first one I went to, you'd say, how do you close a window? Well, put your mouse on that top right-hand corner and then lifted the mouse up and put it in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I realized there, he did exactly what I told them to do. But that's a sort of level where people always think everybody knows everything. And there's so many things where, and even people who know things like, I always say you can always learn something. You go to the basic things, and I could be watching your new show that shows something basic that I think I'll understand fully, and I bet you every time I'll get something out of it.
And that's what I hope to do, honestly, with all this is to kind of show the practicality of the tech. How to make sure how many people even know to keep your browser up to date. It's so easy to just click, we'll do it later, or Windows and. My Windows is doing an update right now. It seems like it does it every 2 days or whatever. But,
yeah, Windows 10 is.
You're right.
Well, I didn't really say anything, but I think anyone who has Windows 10 knows what I was talking about there.
So you said Windows 10. That's all you had to say.
Well, with your the Tech Buds and your new show, when do you think the time frame will they be coming out?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping to start this in early February, honestly. Mm-hmm. Some of my co-hosts that I'm wanting to do, even with the Broadcast Now show, we're going to try to bring back some of the old crew that did that show. So time permitting, if they're able to do it, we'd like to start that up. But again, I want to do it because I want people to get something out of it. I want to do it. I mean, I could talk about that stuff all day long till the cows come home, but if there's nothing that anybody's going to get out of it, and I kind of want to run it in seasons rather than run it all year long. Like I'd like to try to do it in the off season when I'm in the winter time here when I'm not doing really hunting or fishing. So that way I can dedicate the same amount of time to each of the shows rather than trying to cram everything in and try to devote all my time to 5 different shows at one time.
Yeah, because it's very hard. You just can't do that, and plus it doesn't become fun then. If you can do that, right. You say, okay, I'm doing the Tech Buds this season. It's a season of 12 weeks I'm going to do, and then I'll have 12 weeks of outbound, and I'll have 12 weeks of this, and then have the rest of. If I ain't got over 50, but hey, have a rest.
Yeah, and I guess that way you're coming up with ideas for the other shows during their off seasons, right?
Because quite honestly, when I watch shows, to me, it's not the frequency of them. People think they have to put 2-3 shows out a week. They have to, but I don't care if I'm interested in something. If they do once a month, I'm fine with that. Or if they do, like you said, and it makes me want to go there. If they have 12 shows and have a rest for a while, oh, they've come back. And it really makes you look forward. And as I said, you can be a bit fresher because you're not doing the same thing over and over again for years on end. So that's great.
Yeah.
And that's something that we did a little different this year when we went to ATA. We went last year, but I hurried up and got everything edited and pushed it out. And what I realized is I didn't get the views on it that I would have liked, and the companies didn't get the views on it. So this year I made it that every day I've been trying almost every day to deliver at least 2 edited videos. One in the morning, and I time it on Facebook and I schedule it, and then one in the evening. The reason for that is I want to give everybody an opportunity to watch those videos without being overwhelmed, but also give those companies a fair shot of being out there in front of my audience, so that it's not like, okay, I just threw out 20 videos from ATA, now everybody's got to sit there and binge watch 20 videos. And the response I've gotten back was actually pretty positive. They were like, wow, it's nice that you're leading out 2 videos. I watch them and I look forward to the next 2 the next day, because let's face it, I don't know if I'd sit there and watch my 20 videos in one day.
I mean, I feel like even if people like them, they'll watch a few and they'll say, okay, I'll get back to the rest of these later, and then they don't.
Exactly. I mean, it makes sense.
I said the trouble that out there is there's so much great content. It's just knowing how to find it. And like you say, you do it on Facebook, but sometimes they decide you're not going to get it in your view, and sometimes they do. So that's what worries me sometimes. And I've come across people, Rick says about certain people that said, how come I've never heard them? They've done thousands of videos of great quality, and there's just so many people there's just so much great content out there, and I'm just glad we live in this age. I can go weeks without watching proper broadcast TV because there's so much great content out there now, and with your extra shows, even more coming. So that's great.
Yeah,
it's something that it's not good for guys like Harold, because he's doing the production, and but it is in a sense, because like you said, Geoff, the more and more good content that comes out, the better it is for everybody. But I also think it has to be something that, again, if you're just doing it just to do it, people can sense that, and
that's right.
There's no innovation. And I haven't done the Tech Buzz shows, the actual Tech Buzz shows, probably in 2 years, because I've been building No Boundaries Outdoors. And I can honestly say No Boundaries Outdoors has grown more than the Tech Buzz has, just because I learned how to run it, and I learned how to do it, and I learned what the niche was, and I learned things during the Tech Buzz that I could apply to No Boundaries Outdoors that has really excelled and boosted. But I'm still keeping my feet in the broadcast industry, because I found a new way. I mean, the outdoors industry, they're trying to get stuff onto TV. I mean, that's what they want to do. They want outdoor TV that's been outdoor channel, but people don't have the know-how to create good content. We're living in this like everybody's got a vMix, or everybody's got a Wirecast or TriCast or whatever. Outdoor industry, they're like, vMix what? Wirecast what?
Yeah.
It's the truth. I mean, it really is.
And the thing, like the proper broadcast, the stations and TV, they're looking for the cheap ways out. And if they can get something that, hey, they haven't spent any money, just say it's a cheap feed. Like, that's why all these, these lifestyle programs are good. They just stick a camera and film it. So if somebody else goes to and do a little bit of production at a fraction, well, it's next to nothing cost compared to the networks. People watch it, and the quality these days, it's just, sometimes it's better than the broadcast, the quality that you get out of there. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're trying to produce our own hunting TV shows and fishing TV shows, but it's a challenge. It really is, because you need a crew, and these guys are getting paid to do this stuff, so they've got a lot of money to hire a crew, or I'm dealing with volunteers in some instances, and I'm thankful for those guys. But it's a challenge, but it's great to see content still flourishing. We just got to get away from the guys thinking this is the be all end all when it comes to live video. I mean, it's great, it works, but yeah. Got to get back to professional.
As you said, You've got to do it for fun. Anyway, I think we're nearly running out of time. We've gone over
we're just
today.
about to the end of our time. Well, thank you again for coming on, Stephen, and thanks so much for giving us the exclusive, grand reveal of the new studio, and that was great. All the info on your upcoming shows. We'll be sure to watch out for those, and we'll probably have you on again when you've got some of those going on more.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
And what I'll do when you start your new shows up, now I know you've got that technology, I'll make sure I'm there, then I'll call in. Because I know if you're going to use that technology now, you're going to have a call-in section and have people coming in. So we'll have to let us know. We'll test it out for you and say, I'm going to do this. Can you be online so I can bring somebody in to show them? I'm more than happy.
Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, just let me know in advance and whatever time and difference it is. Because like here, it's 9:30 in the morning on Saturday morning, so and it's Friday night.
I'll be happy to let you know.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, Stephen.
All right. Well, so check out Stephen's site at noboundariesoutdoors.com, and you'll see his hunting and fishing stuff there, and look out for new stuff coming from Stephen in the future. He's going to be having a lot more cool shows and content. And
appreciate it, guys.
We will see you next time on Tech Down Over. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye for now. But that's Stephen. I'm